Ende bayi asim ko bosin keta mana na yimma asim kan ko echikwelu ya zelu. Dịka o si dị, ihe a bụ Eastern News 24 bụ ebe anyị si wee na-ewetara unu ya bụ nnukwu ozi dị oke mkpa gbasịta maka ihe na-eme na obodo anyị nọ n'ime ya, ana gbasịta maka nwere onwe ndị Igbo na-azọ. Dịka o si dị, ọ bụ na ya bụ ụbọchị izi gị ị na-agafete n'iru akwụkwọ afọ chanel anyị, kaba alụ ka ị sọbskraibụ and turn on your notification. Maka gịnị? Anyị na-etinyekwanụ update daily gbasịta maka ihe na-eme n'obodo anyị nọ n'ime ya, na gbasịta maka nwere onwe ndị Igbo na-azọ. Dịka o si dị, ya wetara unu n'iru akwụkwọ bụ ife anyị na-akpọkwa EveningTEA ka anyị ji maka ya, ka anyị ji mara ya. Anyị na-akpọ ya EveningTEA. Ife a bụ Biafran Prime Minister in exile were ife were ịgwa ụmụ Igbo. Unu ga-esi ya bụ ife n'ụdị nke gị, ị ga-esi ya bụ ife ịkaba alụ kwuo efe ichelu gbasịta maka ihe ndị a niile Biafran Prime Minister kwuru n'iru akwụkwọ n'ụbọchị nke taa anyị na-akpọ EveningTEA. You can say drop your own comment. All right, over to you, sir.
Of this event of the liberation of Biafra people. As we continue to see the upsurge in the Usman Danfodio conquest, the expansionists are at it again, doing everything to infiltrate our land with repentant Boko Haram. This move will be resisted by the Biafra people and its forces. We have seen on social media several people who have condemned one way or the other the liberation and the manner and the way we are fighting for our freedom. Today, many of them are on social media shouting, oh, everybody should come and see what is happening in Imo State. Everybody should come and see they are bringing Boko Haram. And I want to let them know today that there is no hope in those they are shouting and trying to call their attention. The only hope they have remain the Biafra government. Remain the government they have castigated. The only hope they have today to resist the importation of terrorists by Hope Uzodinma and his gangs remain the Biafra Liberation Army. The only hope they have remain the Biafra de facto government in the homeland and the Biafra Republic government in exile. Without us, they are doomed. Without us, they are gone. And of course, we are not fighting for these few people. We have already secured 50 million votes. 50 good million. Biafra people has given us their mandate when they have lost hope on Nigeria, and they say the Biafra government led by myself, Honorable Simon EKPA, go and fight for us and make sure that our land is safe, secure for our children and women. And that's exactly what the Biafra government is doing today. I have watched many of them shouting on top of their voice, trying to create awareness, and of course, nobody will listen to them. We remain the only hope that you have. You know this at this point, and if you don't know, you are going to know later. To this end, my fellow Biafrans in the United States, a lot of these same people who are now looking up to the government of Biafra to come and save them from the hand of the Nigerian terrorist state. I would like to educate Biafrans who are yet to understand the approach we are using, the defense and defensive approach, which a lot of people understand as violent agitation. I want to educate you today on some of the historic or some of the history of freedom fighting, and I will encourage all of you to listen and ponder on the speech that I'm making today. The struggle for independence and freedom often evokes a spectrum of tactics, ranging from peaceful protests to more violent form of agitation, depending on the pattern the oppressors chose. Why the peaceful movement can inspire significant changes? History has shown that in certain contexts, violent agitation has sometimes proven to be more effective in achieving independence, especially when the oppressors are leading the violence, like we have today, Nigeria leading the violence against Biafra people, while the oppressed are defending themselves ruthlessly, just like we, the Biafra people, have chosen to defend ourselves ruthlessly against the Nigeria war crime, against the crime against humanity that Nigeria has been perpetrating against Biafra people for decades. As this has become the choice of Nigeria terrorist state, and Biafrans are defending themselves, this I want to explain the dynamics between these two approaches. And I want to give some historic example that could illustrate the complicities involved. My fellow Biafrans in the United States and those privileged to listen to this particular speech today, I want you to understand that Biafrans can never be killed again by Nigeria in the manner and in the way they have done in the past. Whenever the oppressors resort to violence, like Nigeria have resorted to violence from 1945 to date, I want you to understand, and I want us to know the efficiency of violence agitation from historic perspective. How many people who faced even lesser than what we are facing today have defended themselves and used violence to get their freedom. Today, I am here in town hall with the Biafrans in the United States. For that reason, I will start from the history of the United States. The efficiency of violent agitation. The American Revolution of 1775 to 1783. The American colonies sought independence from British rule through a series of escalating conflicts. Initially, protests like the Boston Tea Party demonstrated the resistance to the British policy. The same British we are trying, even though they claim we have independence under Nigeria, it is never a reality. However, as tensions escalated, armed conflict became inevitable in America. The Revolutionary War ultimately culminated in independence, illustrating how violent struggle can serve as a catalyst for self-determination. The willingness to engage in welfare galvanized support and unified separate colonial factions, leading to the successful establishment of a new nation that all of you are today, and I am having a town hall meeting with you in the United States. Let us look into the Haitians. The Haitian Revolution 1791 to 1804. The Haitian Revolution is a stark example of how violent resistance can lead to independence. Enslaved Africans, Saint Dominic rose up against their French colonial masters in a brutal and protracted conflict, while other colonies were pursuing gradual reform. Haiti revolutionary leaders sought a Toussaint, emphasized armed rebellion as the means to achieve freedom. My fellow Biafrans, the successful revolt not only resulted in Haiti becoming the first independent Black republic, but also served as an inspiration for other liberation movements across the globe. My fellow Biafrans, I want to take you also to Algeria. The Algeria War of Independence from 1954 to 1962. In Algeria, the struggle for independence from French colonial rule was marked by extreme violence. The National Liberation Front employed guerrilla warfare and terrorist tactics against French forces. Despite the significant international condemnation and the harsh reprisal, the NLF violent campaign was instrumental in rallying nationalist sentiment and eventually led to Algeria gaining independence in 1962. The intensity of the conflict highlighted the frustration of colonized people and ultimately prompted a re-evaluation of the colonial policies by the French government. When the oppressors resort to violence, they will also be confronted with more violence to have a more proactive and more decisive outcome. The Irish War of Independence from 1919 to 1921, following centuries of British rule, the same British. The Irish struggle for independence saw both peaceful and violent tactics, while figures like Daniel O'Connell advocated for no violence means. The Irish Republican Army employed armed rebellion as a primary strategy. The conflict escalated with ambushes and retaliatory violence, ultimately leading to the Anglo-Irish Treaty and the establishment of the Irish Free State in 1922. The combination of violent and political pressure was crucial in achieving a concession from the British government. At this juncture, ask those idiots who call themselves Biafra agitators, why are they interfering in the self-defense that they could not provide for Biafra people for decades? They are carrying flag all over the world. My fellow Biafrans in the United States, why these few examples I just gave to you today illustrate the effectiveness of violent agitation, it is also very essential to consider the context in which these struggles occurred. Factors such as colonial oppression. Today we have what I call the Fulani apartheid regime in Nigeria, where the expansionists continue to follow the legacy of the Usman Dan Fodio, and I have promised them I have come here to end the legacy of Usman Dan Fodio, and the end of the legacy of Usman Dan Fodio will start from December 2nd. These factors such as colonial oppression, social injustice, and lack of responsive governance often participated the turn to violence. In many cases, peaceful protests had been met with repression, leaving group with few alternatives. That particular one Biafra has witnessed for decades. Today, Biafra government, we are doing the talking. We are not only talking but doing it. The relationship between violent agitation and independence is complex sometimes and multi-faced. That's exactly why we adopted what I call the multi-dimensional approach. Anywhere you come, we are there. If you come with peace, we give peace to you. If you come with violence, we give violence to you. If you come with diplomacy, we give diplomacy to you. If you come with political approach, we give political approach to you. If you say it is a political solution, we give political solution to you. Why peaceful protests have historically played a significant role in social movement, Biafra has moved on from peaceful to a defensive with arms. Instances of violent resistance have sometimes proven more effective in achieving tangible outcomes. The example of the American Revolution, Haitian Revolution, Algerian War of Independence, and the Irish War of Independence, which and very soon Biafra will join among the history that has been made using a very strong armed resistance against a terrorist state like Nigeria. I want you to understand that peaceful efforts are stifled when a terrorist is in charge of government, or when the ulterior motive of the government is against the will of the people. Then the peaceful effort will always be stifled. The drive for freedom can lead groups to resort to armed struggle. Ours will never ever be different. Ultimately, the choice of tactics is shaped by the myriad factors, and each movement must navigate its own path towards self-determination. Today, as the government of Biafra, I am telling you, Biafra people, that we as a government, we are navigating our path toward our freedom and self-determination. Those Nigeria NJ distractors should understand that our arms are getting stronger every day, and we are getting more sophisticated. We will never drop this arm until the flag of Biafra is hoisted without anybody interfering, and until the recognition of Biafra as an independent state, the arms will continue to get more sophisticated. Thank you very much. The support is needed as always, and get ready to be part of the history in Finland. Thank you very much.
So much, my wonderful.
Ndị be anyị daalụ nenu nke ukwuu ka unu si wee gbaa mbọ wee na-esoro anyị n'ife anyị na-eme n'elu akwụkwọ dị iche iche. Ọ bụ ife m chọrọ ikwu bifo ma alapụ unu ka unu tinye alụ nke unu ife uche n'elu akwụkwọ gbasịta maka ya bụ ife dịka o si ada and dịka o si akpọtụ n'elu akwụkwọ. Ọ biko wa ajụ m chọrọ ịjụ, biko ndị Igbo ọma na-ege ntị saanụ ya bụ ajụjụ. Ọ ga-edugokwu n'oge anyị akpọ n'ụwa anyị mitin nke ịbụọ jụọ ụwa anyị nwanne anyị nwoke anọ n'ụlọ nke mkpọrọ ebe a ka ọ ya anọzi. Ọ ga-edugo oge onye ọbụla bụ onye Igbo ya pụta tinye ebe ya bụ ife ọnụ maka ya bụ ife akarigo. Nnamdi Kanu nwere ife o mere n'iru akwụkwọ. Tọsifọ ihe ọjọọ mere n'iru akwụkwọ bụ na ọ sị na ọ chọọzi ịbụ onye Naịjirịa. Tọsọ ya wa bụ ife ọjọọ mere. And ndị ọha eze niile ma ndị niile were na-ekwuchara ndị Igbo ọnụ fa, nobody is doing something about it. Nobody is doing anything about it. Ife a na-asụ bụta ọsọ ogologo oyibo. Maazị Nnamdi Kanu bụ the leader of indigenous people of Biafra IPOB si na mmegide na-emegide ụmụnne ya dịrọzi ya alụ mma si nye ya Biafra ka ọ na. Okay, to tell you that what that thing Maazị Nnamdi Kanu na-ekwu n'eziokwu, since the Maazị Nnamdi Kanu check the system of Nigeria till now, the system na-ebezi akwa, everything is collapsing. Always will fall now hotter. What's the more you hold him, the more the economy destroyed. He said these things. Obuli fomu na iputa ine kubo kamake je yon di flani na major on di flani. Chefo no ha bozo we major ndi Igbo. Owori ndi Igbo mele ndi flani. There's nothing an Igbo man. What if Igbo man mele ndi flani? ndị ọhaneze si na a na-eji iyo ndị Fulani about the killings in 1914. Na-ajụ biko o nwere ihe ndị Igbo mere ndị Fulani si from Niger wee kọnka si Hausa niile wee bata ka kọnka kwuola n'Igbo ofu onye pụtara bụ Maazị Nnamdi Kanu si na nke ama mme na ndị ka ife a adịlọ achụbịa ka egbuo onye Igbo ewere nwanne ya lee. Ya bụ ife bụ ọ bụrụ ihe nji maka ya wee bịa ma ọ bụ niile ege ọnụ m n'ife anyị na-ekwu n'iru akwụkwọ. Maazị Nnamdi Kanu stand with justice, equity and fairness. Onwe ndị emebere iwu iche ọ bụla na-ajụ ya so ndị Igbo ha akwa ejidere ya lapụ ya akwa the same thing Maazị Nnamdi Kanu na-azụ ka ọ na-azụ. Ndị Igbo kpọọ n'onwe unu meeting jụọ owu na-ajụ ọgwụnakọ ha m n'ọnụ. Daalụ dị na-ekwusi na-esore anyị. Ọ bụrụ na nke a bụ ụbọchị izu gị na-abịa n'iru akwụkwọ esore na EveningTEA na Eastern News 24 kabarụ ka ị subscribe and turn on your notification ka ịrapụ imisi for update dịka anyị na-drop ya n'iru akwụkwọ oge niile. Daalụnụ ụmụnne m ọgwụnakọ ha m n'ọnụ.